Hello, my dear students. Exams are near, I know, but don't you worry at all. Chalo, let's quickly and super easily understand this beautiful chapter, 1 centimeter.
This entire story, it really just revolves around this one simple but so important question. I want you to keep this in your mind as we go through it, okay?
So here's what we're going to do. We'll break the whole story down into these 6 simple parts. Why? To make it super easy for you to remember for your exam. Easy peasy.
Okay, section 1. First, let's meet our main character and really understand the conflict that's going on inside her heart. So who is this story about? It's about this lady, Ying. She's a hardworking cook, and it's about her son, Xiao. Now, for Ying, her biggest dream, her main goal in life, is to be a completely flawless role model for him.
Okay, and now here's what's really interesting. It's like Ying has 2 different worlds inside her. In one world, she is so careful with money. Every single paisa counts. But in the other world, she's even more careful about setting a perfect example for Xiao. And these 2 worlds are about to collide. All right, let's move on. Section 2 is where we see this conflict in action on a bus ride. So they're on the bus, right? And little Xiao is just bursting with excitement. He's telling his mama, "I'm tall enough. You promised I could get a ticket next time." The thing is, he's just 1 tiny centimeter short of that 110 centimeter height requirement. Now, a ticket costs only 20 cents. To you and me, that's almost nothing, right? But for Ying, that could buy vegetables for 4 days. So you have to understand, this was about more than just money for her. So, and this is absolutely crucial for your exam answer, what does she do? She decides to buy the ticket because she understands that his pride, his happiness, his self-esteem, that is worth so much more than 20 cents. Okay, now we come to the main event, the turning point of the entire story, and it all happens at the temple gate. Can you believe the irony? At the temple gate, the guard stops her, but for the exact opposite reason. He says, "Well, your son is over 110 centimeters. He needs a ticket." And here's the problem. She only has 1 complimentary ticket. Now, Ying is confident. She knows he's shorter, but when he's measured against this red earthworm line on the wall, Xiao suddenly seems to be way over the limit. She's just standing there completely puzzled. And a crowd starts to form. Everyone's looking. Can you imagine how embarrassing that is? In that moment of confusion and, public pressure, she accuses him. She shouts, "Xiao, don't stand on tiptoe!" And then, in a moment of pure frustration, she does something she's never done before. She hits him. And in that one instant, their trust, it's just broken. When Xiao shouts, "I don't trust you," the story says those words are like a poisonous viper to Ying. Why? Because in that moment, she feels she has failed completely in her mission to be that perfect mother.
So what now? She is heartbroken, but she doesn't give up. Now she begins her fight, her quest to win back her son's trust. And really, simple si baat hai, this is the most important thing in the world to her now.
So she has a plan. A 3-step plan. Step 1, she needs to prove the truth, right? So she measures Xiao at home, and what does she find? He is only 109 centimeters. She was right. Step 2, she needs help. So she goes to a man at her factory, a writer, to help her. And step 3, she writes a letter to the temple administration. The story uses this beautiful phrase, the ice in her son's eyes. Please remember this for your exam. It's a metaphor. It represents that coldness, that distance, that broken trust between them. And her entire effort now is just to melt that ice. So she waits for many days. And finally, her efforts pay off. But, and this is interesting, not in the way she expected. Imagine her surprise when one day, 2 officials from the temple, in their uniforms and everything, arrive at her messy little home. Why are they there? Because they got her letter. And they've come to ascertain the truth. So what do? They offer her compensation, $5. They offer her 2 free tickets, they apologize, but she wants none of it. For Ying, the real victory isn't about money or tickets. And this, bachon, this is the climax. This quote is everything. All she asks is, "Gentlemen, would you please just explain to my son what happened?
Please tell him that his mother has not done anything wrong. That's it. That's all she wants.
Okay, we're almost at the end. Let's quickly wrap up with the most important themes and questions that you'll need for your exam. So, when you're writing your answers, please remember these key themes. First, the power of a parent's example. Second, integrity and honesty being more important than money. Third, a child's trust, how delicate it is. And also, don't forget this point, the arbitrary nature of rules. Remember, that height mark on the wall was just plain wrong. And of course, a mother's unconditional love. So for your exam, I want you to really think about this question. Why was her final vindication? Why was proving she was right more important to her than any money or free tickets? The answer is simple, isn't it? Restoring her son's faith in her was absolutely priceless. All the very best for your exams, my dear students. You are going to do great.